Hey everyone, welcome back to TCO Performance Center. Wobby, joined by Vikings tight ends coach Clancy Barone. Very sneakily, the Vikings have a really good group of tight ends, coach. I think you have some depth in your room and you got some pretty talented players.
Well, we have guys that I think fit what we do on offense. And start with Kyle Rudolph, obviously, had a very solid year last year, went back to the Pro Bowl. And he's a guy that we are certainly looking for big things again this year. And follow that up with David Morgan, who I think is having a very strong spring. And Dave, I think, is starting to show that he can do a lot more than just be that quote-unquote blocking tight end. Yeah. Blake Bell's a guy that got injured a little bit last year for us and missed the last couple of games, but we certainly missed him in the postseason, and a guy that we're anxious to get back out there again and to get healthy again. After that, we have our draft choice, Tyler Conklin. Who we think can be a good player for us. And obviously then Josiah Price, who was with us last year during camp, and and he's a guy that I think is starting to show that he's a very versatile tight end, and obviously had a great college career and so forth. Along with that, we have Tyler Hoppus, who is coming in, and he is your more move tight end than say our other guys. But he's also a guy that I think has taken to the blocking role very well.
One thing I always wonder about for position coaches, you've got the guys that are, the fans know them and you used them last year and we all know that they're good, right? Like Kyle Rudolph. But you're also coaching the newer guys or the guys at the bottom of the depth chart. So how do you balance your time with those two different types of players? There's
no magic to it. A lot of it is you have to try to find out the baseline. What can this guy do? What does he need the most help at? And that's true for Rudy too. And then as you go through your practice scripts and so forth, try to get them in the right plays that'll help them develop things that they need more help on. Like I said, if a guy is already very good at doing these certain things, then let's not give him those types of plays. Let's get some of these other plays that maybe he has a weakness in. We can kind of use that to help him see that on film, study it, and then get those things corrected before this becomes real football.
Yeah. You mentioned Tyler Conklin, and you guys drafted him, so there was obviously a lot of things that you liked about him.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you tell us a couple of those things maybe that stood out to you from his college tape?
Well, a lot of the things with him is that he seemed to be a guy that could do it all. He was very versatile, and he had great production in his senior year in the pass game. But he also was involved in a West Coast system earlier on in his career, and was used more in line and things of that nature. So a guy that we felt could come in and certainly add depth for us.
Yeah, you've coached tight ends that are going to go into the Hall of Fame. You've been on a team that's won a Super Bowl. With Kyle Rudolph, what are some things that you really appreciate about his game? Because you've been through those Hall of Fame experiences and those Super Bowl experiences, and Kyle's the top of the heap of our group of tight ends. So what do you appreciate about his game?
Well, the thing is that he's the same guy every day. He is a pro's pro. He's going to know everything about the offense. He's going to study. I did last night, I'll get a text around 10:15 with him asking some question about the film, because he's still studying our practice tape in June at 10:15. And there's not a lot of guys that I think do it that way, but Kyle does. But that's who he is, and that will never change. That's also why he's going to be one of the best tight ends in the history of the Vikings franchise when it's all said and done.
You made me feel smart, because on my list of questions here, or topics I have, it looked like David Morgan had a solid spring. That's what I have right here.
You nailed it.
And you already said that he's had a solid spring. Yeah. So what do you expect from him, though, here when we get into the fall?
Dave's a guy, and if you think back to the game we played at Green Bay, Rudy was kind of dinged up a little bit at that point, had the ankle sprain, and David got in there and made a crucial third down catch for us on a 3rd and 15. Caught the ball, he made two guys miss, and then got the first down. He's a guy that we feel very confident, and that's just one play out of the season. But Dave has also had a very solid spring in catching the football, and something that he has spent a lot of time on this offseason, and trying to make that a bigger part of his game. He was known as being just the blocker. That's not really fair, because in college he proved otherwise. Yeah. And so now we have a chance to now show what he can do in that part of his game as well, and he's doing very, very well with it.
Blake Bell, the Vikings didn't draft him, right? And He was hurt for, I think it was the final 3 regular season games and the 2 playoff games. So in the money time last year, when everyone was watching, you know, he wasn't playing. Easy maybe to let him slip your mind, but he's someone who can help you out in a lot of different ways.
And he's a guy that didn't slip our minds when he was not out there playing with us, because it did kind of alter how we had to game plan and so forth. And without having him, because he is a guy who can certainly stretch the field. He's a guy that you know, can help us out also in you know, with Coach Prefer in the kicking game. So he's a guy that our entire team counts on. And so when he went down, that was a big blow to us, and a guy that we, you know, certainly missed, especially in postseason. But he's a guy also I think is having a great spring.
Good.
He really is.
Yeah, he's a tough guy too.
He sure is.
He likes to get in there and mix it up.
He does. Yeah, he certainly does.
Yeah. John D Philippa, new to the coaching staff. So you guys bring a lot of continuity back from the offense. I know the quarterback's new and the coordinator's new, but you guys did a lot of good things on offense last season, and you bring a lot of those pieces back. But what have you appreciated about John D Philippa? What's it like working with him?
The whole thing with Flip is, even though we have not worked together, we have a lot of the same friends, and I've heard his name for years and years now as being a very bright mind on offense. And when he got the job, my phone was blowing up from people I know that have worked with him. Hey, Clancy, you're going to love this guy. He is brilliant. He has a great eye for the game. He has a certain knack for calling plays, which is hard. And he has been that guy and more for us this spring.
Yeah.
So I think we'll do just fine.
John D Philippa has won a Super Bowl, as have you, watching the Golden State Warriors and Washington Capitals do their championship parades. You know, I thought about you because you've been through that.
Yeah.
What's that like to reach the pinnacle, win the Super Bowl?
You know, I'll be honest with you. Obviously, it's great, but you know, I also lost one too.
Yeah.
And against the Seahawks, and I probably have more vivid, more powerful memories of the one that we lost, because that was that chance that got away. And yes, we have one. Flip has one. Both Zims have one. Yeah. I think it's time to go out there and get that second one.
Yeah, we'd like one here.
How about that? Let's do it then.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All right,
Coach.
pal. Thank you.